Hey there, welcome to No Recipe Required. Hope you're doing well. So tonight I'm going to do a potato side dish for you. This dish I don't have a recipe for. I've actually never made before. It's inspired though by a local restaurant that does it's a steakhouse, does just a great potato recipe. It's a little kind of like maybe kitchen sink potatoes. I don't know. It's got a whole bunch of different ingredients in it. We cooked the potatoes off, some cheese, some herbs, everything in there. Let's go ahead and let's show you how to do it. Okay, for our potato dish that has no name, I'm using some kind of red, large fingerling potatoes. You can use anything you want though. In fact, you know what I'm going to call? I'm going to call this a smashed potato with a whole bunch of stuff in it. What I want to do, I don't want the peels in there, so I'm going to go ahead and peel these off. Once they're peeled, I'm just going to take them and drop them into a pot of water, cool water, or room temperature water, and we're going to cook them off in the water. Let's come back when we've got some of the other ingredients ready to take a look. Okay, just put the potatoes on the heat. Obviously, I start them off in room temperature water. I'm going to let them go ahead and cook through. Once they're done, tender, we'll remove them. We're going to do the smash then, and we'll add our other ingredients. Alright, let's go ahead and show you how to saute a shallot. This is an enormous shallot. Doesn't really matter though, size, big or small, it kind of works the same procedure. I take the top off, I take the bottom off, toss those, really no good, and then frequently you'll see shallots kind of bunched together like that. Totally normal, totally fine. You want to take the outside layers off, and every once in a while too I'll see some dirt or some mold in there on this outside layer, which is totally fine. Just go ahead with the knife, cut that outside layer off, pull it off, and then I'll usually rinse off this piece. This is what we're going to use. Make sure you get all that stuff off. Let me go do that. We'll come right back. Okay, let's go ahead and slice our shallots. You've seen me do that before. I'm going to take this one in half because it's fairly big, and then just make nice thin cuts. Because what I want to do, I want to saute these and get them kind of nice and soft, a little bit golden brown. Eventually you'll come down to this root end, garbage, toss it, don't worry about it. Let's go ahead, get the rest done. And again, technique, knife skills wise, you want to use that claw grip, get the knuckles in, and then guide that knife back with your hands, and then you can get real quick at going through the shallots. So I've got a pan heating up on the stove now. Let's go ahead. We're just going to saute these off in olive oil right on the stove top. Okay, let's go ahead and saute our shallots. Now I'm going to do these in olive oil. Sometimes I do them in butter if I want a little bit more flavor, but olive oil, totally fine, totally great. We want to add them to a medium hot pan, and then immediately give it a good bit of salt, toss them to coat, and then we're really just going to let them go. They're probably going to take 15 minutes or so to nicely soften up, turn completely clear or translucent. They're not going to get completely clear, they're not going to be like air, but you'll definitely notice the difference. And you want to try and spread them out as much as possible. If it's probably best, like I said, to do this over medium-high heat. If at any point they seem to be going too quick, too fast, just grab the whole pan, go over to the sink, add a tablespoon of water. That'll cool the pan down. Put it back on, turn the heat down a little bit, and you're good to go. So let me just keep going. And by the way, you don't need to go crazy like I'm doing now. You can go pretty gentle. And as long as you toss them maybe every 2 to 3 minutes, you'll be totally fine. Okay, so after about 10 to 15 minutes or so, I think mine have been on closer to 15, you get this nice caramelized, or actually they're not, I wouldn't call these caramelized, these are nicely sauteed shallots. Again, nice and soft. If you pull one out, give it a taste. Okay, so our potatoes, I just drained off. They are now nice and tender. And I'm just going to throw a tablespoon of butter in there. Get a little bit of oil in the bottom of the pan, or a little bit of grease in the bottom of the pan. And I'm going to add in 2 cloves of garlic first. I'm going to add this first because this is the only raw ingredient. that I really got in here. And I want that to have a little bit of time just to cook off. Now looking at the bottom here, I can use just a little more butter. You definitely want, you know, a nice little coating in there. And then really all I'm going to do is just kind of mash up some of those potatoes. I'm using a wooden spoon. You can use kind of anything you want here. And you just want to kind of get in there, mash them against the side, break them up a little bit. Again, we're not looking for a nice, smooth, creamy texture. We just want lots of pieces. I've also, I've also used a fork with this as well. And once we get them there, you definitely don't need to be gentle at all. I'm going to add in a couple more ingredients. So I've got some cream. I'm going to add that just like mashed potatoes. I've got some sauteed shallots that I put together, which are going to bring an awesome flavor. And then I've also, of course, got my salt and pepper. Salt, pepper. I'm just going to keep adding, or I'm going to keep stirring, and again just kind of work those potatoes, get it to the consistency I want, and then we'll come right back. We're actually going to cook this a second time in the oven. Okay, so I've got my potatoes mixed in, added a little bit more cream. You know, you do want a nice kind of soupy texture. I'm going to add my final couple ingredients. I've got some bacon bits here that I used real bacon. Just cut it very finely and then chopped them up, sauteed them until they're nice and crispy. We'll mix that in. Now let's go ahead. We'll transfer this into our ramekin. We're going to top it with cheese, pop it in the oven. Okay, like I said, I'm going to do a bit of a twice baked on my smashed potatoes here. I've just transferred them into this little little casserole dish. This is obviously like the individual setting or serving. You can do it in a bigger pan, no problem. You can even probably do this in a regular oven-proof dish. Again, no problem. I've got a little Swiss cheese or Gruyere cheese here to make a nice little topping for it. And then I'm going to go ahead and pop this into a 375-degree oven for probably 15 minutes. Get that top nice and golden brown. Okay, so I just took my smashed potatoes out of the oven. You can see it's got a just a light golden brown crust there. That's exactly what I'm looking for. If it's not browning quick enough for you, you can do what I did. I actually threw the broiler on and just put it under the broiler for another 5 minutes or so, and you'll get that nice little crispy crust. So, hope you make it soon, and I hope you enjoy it. I'll see you next time on No Recipe Required.